What's good, y'all? You already know what it is. These women are wilding again. Shout outs to Desirable for the video. We got a clinical psychologist on a podcast here breaking down all of the intricacies and dissecting modern dating. So let's see what they talk about. Like, comment, subscribe to your boy, help him out against the algorithm, and let's dive in.
This podcast by asking you a question about your experience as a clinical psychologist. I believe you've worked with thousands of people by now, right?
At this point, yeah. In all kinds of different issues.
Areas. So based on that vast experience, who would you say it is easier to be today in the dating marketplace? A woman or a man?
I do think that in today's day and age, it is easier for a woman than for a man.
Okay.
Obviously. I don't know if you guys ever got on like on a date, on like a Tinder date with like even like a moderately attractive girl. The amount of likes and matches she gets is insanity. They play a just different set of rules. So like most guys will go to like the whatever Gen Pop and just start swiping. The girls just go into their already liked category and it's got thousands in there. And they just pick and choose from there. Everyone they swipe with is already going to be a match because they've already sent her a like. It's a no-brainer. Women got it easy.
In general, young women are much more attractive to men than young men are to women. And we know that the things that men and women are attracted to aren't always the same. There are some general things that we all are looking for. We would prefer partners who are kind, or partners who are smart, or partners who are loyal. But there also are some very gender differences in what men and women are attracted to. And it turns out that men still very much value youthfulness, physical beauty, attractiveness, and that according to men, women tend to peak at around 22, 23 years old.
What?
Yes, this is actually the oldest it's ever been. The survey has been done multiple times throughout the last.
That response right there is every woman over 30. They just can't fathom why they're getting cooked by the 25-year-olds. It's like every one of these videos we watch where the women are all complaining about the dating scene. No one's hitting on them. They have to pay to get in the club now. Nobody's hollering at them.
Last like 50 or 60 years. I think the first time it was done, they peaked at 19. So men's tastes have matured somewhat over the last 60 years. Now it's 23.
Congratulations.
23 is the peak.
Yeah. You see that also in passive behavior on dating apps. No matter what the age of the man is, they'll swipe more on women around 22 to 24 years old, whereas women tend to swipe a little bit more age appropriately. If you look at a 50-year-old man's age filters on a dating app, it's often from 18 to 40 years old.
Wow.
And I don't think that's comparable to a 50-year-old woman. 50-year-old women tend to date maybe 48 to 60, something like that. That would seem to be reasonable.
That sounds.
So it looks like the women can go up 10 years. See, it's always been like that. Women always dated up in terms of age as well, not just like status and all that. But it's never a problem when the woman dates up 10 years, but it's always frowned upon when the woman or the man dates down 10 years. But like the irony is the reason why they're doing that is because the women 10 years younger are wanting them. So it's a weird double standard where no one bats an eye when a woman goes up 10 years, but people look sideways if the dude is down 10 years.
About right.
Sounds like a better recipe for a happy relationship.
They have more of what men want in their 20s. What are some of the things that women tend to look for? They look for emotional maturity. They look for an established lifestyle. They look for status and wealth. They look for strength. And most guys in their 20s don't have those things. So it takes a long time for men to have the things that most women want. And that usually changes in the 30s. So women in their 20s definitely have an easier time dating than men in their 20s. It can get harder for women starting in their 30s.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing, like with women that I coach. On paper, they've done things right. They have a good career. They are focused on healing and invested in learning how to be supported.
Right away, I'm already skeptical of this girl having a one-on-one coaching program because she was so blown away. She was absolutely floored when Homeboy said that men want girls that are around 25 years old, or like that's the peak attraction level. She was flabbergasted. So it makes me very skeptical to what type of information is she teaching, or like how effective is her coaching program really going to be if something so basic as men find 25-year-olds the hottest is inconceivable to her.
What if wives potentially, but they don't find men who are willing to commit?
Yeah, it's going to be tough because, a lot of those women, I assume, prioritized other things in their 20s, either their education or career
Usually.
or they traveled and just had fun.
Yeah.
Like those are the two big things. And it's like, okay, fair enough. And then, in their mid 30s, they're thinking of settling down. And that's kind of nearing the end of their reproductive window. And so you have to understand that from just like a purely economic perspective, the woman at 38 wants the same deal as the woman who's 22. They both want marriage and a lifetime of, and the 38-year-old woman generally wants it at a much more extrapolated lifestyle. Like a woman at 38 wants more comfort and expects kind of a better way of living than a woman at 22. So she's actually more expensive with respect to that. And for men who want to get married and start a family, a 38-year-old woman is not a very attractive reproductive prospect. I mean, I know that hurts some people's feelings, but that's just how it is.
Are you finding that men want to have children as much as they did in the past?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I think the rates are going down.
So that's why I'm
across the
asking, because I'm
board.
wondering if men are wanting to have kids less, and I know women, I know in general people are having kids later and less, then why is that a factor still so much?
It's a great question.
No, it's not a great question. She's not listening. The 38-year-old girl is not as hot as the 28-year-old girl, even if they're not planning to have kids. If a successful dude in his 40s or even 30s, if he's able to pull any chick he wants, he's going to go for the hottest option that he could pull, which would be a woman in her 20s.
Well, I don't think it necessarily needs to be, but why would a woman want to get married? So in my opinion, the only reasonable reason to get married is to start a family. Otherwise, you can just be two adults who enjoy spending time with each other. Like, why do you have to get the government involved? Why do you have to make a contract? It's kind of weird because
it's because they want the status. They want to show off to their friends and family. And also, too, for the women, it's great. It's a great deal for them because when they eventually file for divorce, they get all the money from it. So for a woman, it's a no-brainer to not want to be married and not to get married. They get all the benefits. They get they get all the.
We talk about it being like love, but like I'm sure you love your friends, but you never sat them down and made them sign a document that promised that they would never stop being your friend, and if they did, you would be entitled to all kinds of compensation as a consequence of that. I mean, like a friend who gave you that agreement would look at you like you're nuts and be like, "This is not a friend, dude. We're just homies. Like, why do we need a?"
I think sometimes maybe marriage is about, I don't know. What was it for you? Like, why did you want to get married?
Well, first of all, I don't think I have an ability to give love easily.
Okay.
And I think it's a lot to do with what I've been through in my life, my childhood and so on. So I don't really develop loving feelings towards friends.
For me, love has been kind of like an onion. I've certain parts in my life I've like, oh, this is love. And that was the deepest I was able to go. And then that relationship.
What's love to you guys? Post in the comments. Let me know. For me, it's like growing up in America and then but also growing up in an African household. I got to see both sides of it. And I see, like, for me, the way Americans did it was just so performative. It was like all about the gifts, all the made up holidays, the posting her. But then, like, and I look at all the African parents that have been married for 30 plus years, 35 years, 40 years. And they don't do any of that stuff. They're not posting each other on their birthdays, making a big deal out of anniversaries, things like that. But they sacrifice for each other. They compromise. They work hard. They support each other. They each play their role they put the family first. So for me, that's what love is. It's action, and it's choosing each other day in and day out.
Ended for various reasons. I got into another relationship. It's like, oh, now this is real love.
Real
It's
one.
deeper and it feels different. Ah, I finally figured it out. And then that relationship ended for various reasons. Again, another, oh, this is what it is. So it's possible that I haven't reached the bottom yet either. But I wonder, it's interesting because at every stage of my life, I felt like I was loving. And then in retrospect, it seemed maybe more superficial or more based on limerence and attraction or more based on egoic concerns and like emotional neediness and wanting to be completed by somebody.
Yeah, I would say a lot of people just have infatuation, and they consider that love.
So, they were interesting and learning experiences for me, but it's hard for me to look back at those and say, oh yeah, I knew what love was when I was 16, for instance.
Do you think you know it now?
I think so. I think I've loved and I know how to love, and it's really fucking hard to do.
Yeah.
It's very, very hard.
Yeah.
I think relationships require maintenance. Okay. Love, for me, is, as I talk about in the book, it's the humiliated self-exultant. For me, love is sacrifice in the service of the loved one. And it's like blind to self and cares only for the good of the other. And that's extremely...
And based on that definition, women don't be doing that. I have kind of very controversial, uncommon take that women are incapable of truly loving for the most part, because when they get in a relationship, it's all about them. It's all about, what can you do to make me happy? Everything's geared toward them. They're making all the plans. They want the dude to run things past them and ask them for permission to do stuff, and it's just, they're the ones trying to put people in the doghouse. You go sleep on the couch, stuff like that. Like that's not a really equal, loving partnership. That is a stark power dynamic. And the second that the man is not performing or no longer brings happiness, she has no qualms about blowing up the whole marriage and blowing up the whole family.
Difficult. I think it's kind of interesting that one of humanity's greatest models for that, like the person of Jesus,
Right.
he only really lived for about 3 years, from 30 to 33 preaching love. And he was, in the Christian mythology, God. Like God could love for 3 years, and that was as much as he could handle. And he made the ultimate sacrifice, right? Like it's very, very hard to love. This is why it's very, to me, ironic when people say that they're looking for love. Like love is a hard thing.
It's so worth it though.
Well, sure. Like it helped me grow up. It helped me to mature. It helped me to have a deeper, richer experience of self and other and life. I'm glad I did it, but I'm also glad to get what I want. Love exists in relationships, but it's almost like a serendipitous overlay on top of it. And the relationships typically aren't formed or certainly can't sustain themselves through love alone.
What can expand you more as a human being?
Certainly. Like I just said, I think love can really expand who you are as a human being. But so could also running a marathon. So could building a business. Like so could adopting a child.
It's true.
There are many very hard things that human beings can do that will dramatically expand their consciousness, their sense of self, their soul, and how many people do those in their spare time. So again, the ironic thing to me is that when people say they're looking for love, they're not looking to be turned inside out. They're not looking for this really hard thing. Ooh, I really want to do a hard thing that's going to break me open so I can learn to love in a selfless way. They want to be loved.
100%. Like, if you ever talk about a woman, why do you want to be married? Why do you want to get in a relationship? It's never, oh, I want to cater to my man. Oh, gosh, I really just want to cook and clean for him. I want to have a bunch of kids and nurture them and be there for them and take care of them. And I want to greet my man at the door when he comes home from a long day at work or at the business, the office, whatever, the shop. It's never that. It's always, I want to be loved. I want someone to take care of me. I want someone to provide for me. I want it's what they can get out of the relationship. That's to them. That's all a relationship is, because that's how they were brought up. That the whole point of a relationship is for you. So it's a very counterintuitive approach, very selfish approach, and it's the opposite of what he's discussing right now.
Experience. It's the difference between going to a restaurant to eat and to work.
Yep.
The customer and the waitress have very different experiences at the restaurant. To be loved is to be served. It's the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
It's great to have that kind of selfless devotion attended to you. Also be a invalidation of your gift. It feels good to give, right? Which means that you need to be with someone who can take. And if I just, as soon as I receive something, give something back, which is generally what people do with something like a compliment. Most people can't even take a compliment.
Yeah.
You say, I'm just, but it's nothing about you. You look fantastic, you know? But on some level, it invalidates your gift because I just sort of like paved it over with my own.
Watched it.
I want to ask you, because you said about the ease of being a woman that's in her 20s in the dating world, and you said that men who are younger tend to have it harder, which obviously is so true because all these stats show how little men actually get matches on all these dating profiles.
That's awful. Yeah.
I want to ask you, based on your experience, specifically focused on men who are in these younger years.
I do think that men on some level kind of have to make a sacrifice of their 20s, and they have to devote their energies and their attention to building something, building their bodies, building their business, building their lifestyle, and to give up trying to find your place in the world. This is an interesting concept. It's one that I believed when I was younger, like I have to find my place. Simone de Beauvoir talks about this very persuasively. It's like the world is always ever full. Like,
yeah, for a man earlier, you use your 20s to build your business, build your career, definitely get in the gym. Yeah, by the time you're 30, you're going to be in a wonderful place. And then you could always start a family later, because men can have kids forever. Like, so there's no rush. And then when you're in your 30s, you're successful and you're fit, the world becomes your oyster. You can get whatever girl you want.
if I wasn't here, if I was never born, you two probably wouldn't be thinking there's an Orion-sized hole in the world somewhere, you know? It would seem like everything was full and complete. No matter if there's 1 billion people in the world or 10 billion people in the world, we don't miss that which has never been. So there's not like an empty space that's just waiting for you to arrive. And I used to think that when I was younger. I bet a lot of guys do. It's like, I need to find my scene, you know? I need to find the right career. It's like they're just waiting for me to show up. And it's like, that doesn't happen because the world is always ever full. So the way to find your place in the world is to build it for yourself. And to build it among other people, the best way to do that is to look very closely at what people need and to satisfy those needs. I also think that men kind of have to build a callus around women in their 20s. I think, especially if you're talking about the dating apps, men have to take massive action in order to get any kind of result. Women don't like that. They don't like getting the same canned message that every other woman does.
Yes.
But it's just a waste of energy for the average man, because even if he had a perfect, witty, and personally crafted message, it gets ignored 98% of the time. So he would get burnt out before he even got a response. Being a man with women in their 20s, sort of like being a telemarketer. The vast majority of the time, people are just going to hang up on you.
It's rough. You hear that voice on the phone, and you're like, oh no, why did I pick it up?
Yeah, you dread it.
Women feel that way.
Look at this note here. So it says that on Tinder, women have an average match rate of 10%. I expected it to be way higher than that. So women get a match every 10 times they swipe. But men, their match is less than 1%. It's 0.6. So they have to swipe 140 times before they get one match. And that one match is probably some bot. If you're like on the dating apps, there's a lot of good channels on here. that could teach you how to like make a good profile. If you have a good profile, you will have good results. You could definitely increase that match rate from 0.6 to enough where you're getting dates each week and able to pull girls each week. 100%. There's a lot of good channels out here.
Sure. I mean, it's icky to get attention from guys that you're not attracted to, I imagine, or that you don't want to get looked at.
I don't
in
know
that
if
way.
that's true. I think maybe with objectification or being sexualized, yes. But
Yes,
I think that
that's
when
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, okay. But I think if someone is just like, oh, you're beautiful, and that there's just an appreciation, then it doesn't feel icky. It's just like, oh, maybe I don't feel attracted back to you, but thank you. Are there things that men should be doing on their dating profiles in general to stand out?
Holding fishes with their
Get
shirts
out of
off.
here.
No, one thing that they could definitely do is level up their pictures. Like, I've looked at some men's profiles and they're real bad. You know, most guys only have pictures of themselves on vacation. Okay, fair enough. And with their guy friends, maybe. So to actually get photos of yourself on a nice camera, like an SLR with good lighting, it doesn't have to look like a professional headshot, but just having high quality images can put you ahead of like 95% of men.
That's true. Just having good photos will definitely, literally put you ahead 90%. And it doesn't even got to be like a professional camera. It could just be your homie with his iPhone. Just go on a nice day, go somewhere cool, some type of scenic background, take a bunch of photos. Yeah, you can be, it's super, super easy.
On dating apps.
That's huge.
Sure. And you just need, 6 of them? Anybody can get 6 good pictures.
Yeah, exactly. The fun fact is that we actually met on a dating profile.
Well, sure, most people do
Yeah.
these days.
We met on Tinder, forever grateful because I found you. And
I'm
it's
grateful I
so-
was in my 20s.
But I have such a unique experience, and I don't know if it's because you think so differently about the world. I have followed all the rules of like what you just said, great photos, and at that time I was a proud owner of a 6-pack.
Nice.
It drifted away. It's a 4-pack now.
It's still great.
Sometimes 3-pack.
Shout outs to him. I saw a crazy stat that said, I'm not going to quote the numbers because I don't remember the numbers at all. But essentially, it's more rare to have a 6-pack, like way more rare to have a 6-pack than it is to be a millionaire, which is crazy. Because like if you could like have the discipline to save and invest up to $1 million net worth, you could put in that same discipline to go to the gym and eat healthy for like a year. I think that's all it would take. A year. Well, I guess it depends how big you are. If you're 400, 500 pounds, then okay, no. But if you're, 250 or something like that, 1 year of tracking your calories and eating well and go to the gym consistently, you have a 6-pack.
But I had like, I showed my best side, right?
Of course.
You know that after getting matched with her, she told me that she almost didn't swipe on me because I was too showy. Where do you draw the line where you think, like I need to be the best version of myself? And
Well, bro, she said she almost didn't swipe right. Guess what? She still did it, and you guys ended up together. So it goes back to do what women do and not what they say. They say they want the dad bod and all that, but they're matching with the jack dudes, the shredder dudes.
then she wouldn't swipe on me because I showed too much.
Well, she almost didn't,
Yeah, that's true.
which means that she did.
Okay.
That's true.
So
That's
let's-
true. You said in one of your interviews that women should bring out their nastiest, sluttiest side to seduce a man.
Yeah, it got me into trouble. So I've switched it to giving the richest, creamiest milk they possibly can.
Oh,
Is that worse?
yeah. Yes, that is. Why?
So the reason for that is things happen in a New York minute in today's dating scene. Most women have potentially dozens of matches that they're talking to. And if you let too much time go by, it's just like, okay, next kind of a thing. When you meet somebody on a dating app in particular, you can't pretend that you're the only person that they're talking to dating or even sleeping with. That's the situation. So you already are entering into a competition, but you don't even know who really you're competing against.
Yeah.
Okay.
1,000%. 1,000%. There's plenty of girls that would go home with you on the first night. So it's like, well, what's the point of spending time with someone who's not going to put out?
So you have to pair this also with the reality in today's day and age that with relationships, sex precedes commitment. That's the modern
Today,
situation.
yes. In the
Is
Western
how does
world.
it typically go? Yeah, in the Western world, right? But that's changing even in other parts of the world too. It's we go on some dates, we're attracted to each other, we sleep with each other. Maybe that goes on for a few weeks and a few months, and it's like, well, what are we? What's going on? Like, who, and then you have to define the relationship
love the voice.
conversation, right? Because it's usually the woman. So it's a couple months later, and then it's like, oh, I thought we were just really chill, and this is what you wanted, or oh, I like you too, and let's have a relationship, and what does that look like? And we're having a conversation, and you guys have been screwing for weeks or months at this point, right? Mm-hmm. So to believe that the commitment will come before the sex that's very expensive in today's day and age because your competition is giving away free samples. Yep. So you can't really charge when your competition is giving away free samples. The old line that like, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? It's now more or less like, why would you buy the cow if you have to pay for the milk? Like, I expect the milk now. If you don't give the milk, then I'm just going to pass you on to one of the 24 people who I have lined up who will give that to me. Yep. So if you can't differentiate yourself based on what you charge for your samples, what can you do? You can make sure that your sample is the richest, creamiest milk that's available. That's where that comes from. So that's one way. Now, the other thing is you have to understand that most women are gunning for a very small percentage of the total men.
Sadly true.
Not even single men. Like they're still targeting the taken men.
Get the fuck out of my life.
I'm taken.
Well, it's also like, why do men become famous and successful? Mm-hmm. People scratch their heads, especially women. It's like, why did the president cheat? Why did the CEO cheat? Why did the star athlete cheat? It's like, why did they become the star athlete or the president or the CEO? Like consciously or not, higher status, more successful men get access to more and more attractive women.
And you think that's what drives them?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Whether they're aware of it or not. Most guys kind of are, but it's not socially acceptable to say. I mean, this is the ultimate game, is sex. It's the propagation of our genes. It's survival. All's fair in love and war.
How much can a woman really control relationship with sex?
A lot. I mean, you've heard the phrase pussy whipped before, right?
Yes.
You know.
That's a good place to wrap that up. I think I'm gonna break this up into several parts. It's a long podcast. So, like, comment, subscribe to your boy, help him out against the algorithm, and we'll see you on part 2.